Welcome to my channel, detailing events throughout the decades. 1987, Hungerford. Michael Robert Ryan was born May 18, 1960. His father died in May 1985, aged 80, so Ryan lived with his mother Dorothy, a dinner lady at the local primary school. Ryan had no siblings. It was reported that Ryan was spoiled by his mother. Ryan had been issued a shotgun certificate in 1978. On December 11, 1986, he was granted a firearms certificate covering ownership of 2 pistols. He later applied for the certificate to be altered to include a 3rd pistol. On July 14, he applied for another variation to the certificate, which was to cover 2 semi-automatic rifles, which was approved on July 30. The first shooting occurred 7 miles from Hungerford, in Savernake Forest, Wiltshire. At around 12:30 on August 19, Susan Godfrey, aged 35, had come to the area with her 2 children for a family picnic. Ryan came up to them with his gun raised and forced Susan to place the children in her car. He then marched Susan into the bushes and shot her 13 times in the back. Police were only alerted to the scene after Susan's children went up to a pensioner, Myra Rose, and told her that a man in black had shot their mummy. Ryan then drove his silver Vauxhall Astra from the forest towards Hungerford. He stopped at the Golden Arrow petrol station, just 3 miles from town. He filled up his car before shooting at the female cashier. He missed her, so he entered the store and again tried to shoot her at close range. His rifle's magazine had fallen out, so he left and continued back to Hungerford. Witnesses had seen the attempted shooting and quickly called the police. Around 12:45, Ryan was seen at this home. He loaded his car with weapons and attempted to drive away, however, the car would not start, so he was forced to get out, where he fired 4 shots into the right side of the car. Neighbors reported seeing him moving between the house and the car before he returned back inside and shot and killed the family dog. Ryan doused the house with petrol and set it on fire. The fire destroyed 3 surrounding houses also. He removed the guns from the boot of his car and shot and killed Roland and Sheila Mason, who were in their back garden. He then walked towards the town's common, entering 2 more people on the way. On the footpath towards the common, Ryan encountered a family out walking their dog. Upon seeing Ryan and his weapons, Kenneth Clements raised his arms in a gesture of surrender, trying to divert Ryan's attentions, as his family climbed over a wall and ran to safety. Ryan ignored the gesture, and shot Kenneth at close range, killing him instantly. Ryan then went back to Southview, firing 23 rounds at PC Roger Brereton, who had just arrived on the scene. He was hit 4 times in the chest and the car veered and crashed into a telephone pole. Roger died in the car. Ryan then turned his weapons onto Linda Chapman and her teenage daughter Allison. Ryan fired 11 rounds from his rifle into the bonnet of her car, hitting and wounding Allison in the right thigh. He shot at the windscreen, hitting Linda with glass, and a bullet in her left shoulder. As he reloaded, Linda managed to reverse her car out of Southview, to go and get help. George White drove towards Ryan, unaware of what was happening. Ivor Jackson was in the passenger seat. Ryan fired at George, hitting him in the head, and severely injuring Ivor. The car crashed into the back of PC Roger Brereton's police car. Ivor faked his death, hoping Ryan wouldn't move in for a closer look. Ryan then moved along Fairview Road, killing Abdul Rahman Khan, while he was mowing his lawn. Further along the road, he wounded Alan Luckett, who had helped Ryan build up his gun display. An ambulance arrived on scene, and were unaware what they were about to come across. Ryan shot at the ambulance, shattering the window and injuring Hazel Hazlitt, who quickly sped away, before Ryan could continue shooting. Ryan continued to shoot at people who appeared on the street. Ryan's mother drove into Southview and was confronted by her burning house and dead and injured people strewn along the street. She went over to George's car, opened the door and witnessed Ivor's injuries. Dorothy attempted to reason with her son, but he shot her in the abdomen and legs, before firing 2 shots into her back, as she lay wounded on the ground. Betty Tolliday came out of her house, to tell Ryan to stop making all that noise, as she assumed he was shooting at paper targets. He shot at Betty, wounding her. Ryan now ran towards Hungerford Common. Police had now been made aware of the situation that was unfolding. Ryan's movements were tracked via police helicopter. However, this was hampered by media helicopters and journalists responding to the attacks. On Hungerford Common, Ryan shot and killed a young father, Francis Butler, as he walked his dog. He then shot at Andrew Cadle, who managed to escape on his bike. Local taxi driver, Marcus Barnard, slowed down as Ryan crossed in front of him. Ryan fired at him, killing him instantly. Anne Honeybone was injured as she drove down Priory Avenue. Ryan then shot at John Storms, who was parked on Priory Avenue. A local builder ran from his nearby home, and dragged John out of his van, and into the safety of his home. Ryan calmly walked towards the town center of Hungerford, where police attempted to evacuate the public. Ryan killed 67-year-old Douglas Wainwright and injured his wife, Kathleen, in their car. Ryan was heading towards their car, when Kathleen managed to undo her seatbelt and run. They had both been visiting their son, a policeman on the Hungerford force, who had coincidentally signed Ryan's request to extend his firearms certificate, only weeks earlier. While driving along Terrence Hill in his Ford Transit, Ryan shot at Kevin Lance, injuring him in the upper arm. At around 1:30, Ryan crossed Orchard Park Close, into Priory Road, firing a single round at a passing red Renault 5. The shot fatally wounded the driver, 22-year-old Sandra Hill. After shooting and wounding several others, Ryan broke into the John O'Gaunt Community Technology College, where he had once been a pupil. The school was closed for the summer holidays, so was therefore empty. He barricaded himself inside a classroom, while police surrounded the building. Ryan shot at circling helicopters, and waved what seemed to be a grenade through the window. Police attempted negotiations to try and coax him out of the building, but these failed. Ryan refused to leave, before knowing what had happened to his mother, claiming her shooting was a mistake. At 1852, Ryan shot himself in the head with his pistol. Ryan's true motives and reason behind the shootings were never known. At the time, a number of factors hampered the police response to the massacre. The telephone exchange could not handle the number of 999 calls made by witnesses. The Thames Valley Firearms Squad were training 40 miles away. The police helicopter was in for repair, but was eventually deployed. Only 2 phone lines were in operation at the local police station, which were undergoing renovation. Ryan's collection of weapons had been legally licensed. The Firearms Amendment Act 1988 was passed in the wake of the massacre, banning the ownership of semi-automatic centerfire rifles and restricted the use of shotguns with a capacity of more than 3 cartridges in magazine plus the breech. The Hungerford Massacre remains, along with the 1996 Dunblane School Massacre, one of the worst criminal atrocities involving firearms to occur in the United Kingdom. Forever remembering those who died on that fateful day, and all those who were injured and affected by that day. May you never be forgotten. Thank you for watching and learning about events throughout history. Please subscribe to my channel, to view other events throughout the decades.